Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully everything's working. As far as I know, it is. So, yeah. Good. Got audio. We're good to go. So, hope you're all doing well. This will probably be an abbreviated stream for me because I've been fighting some stuff, which is why I'm not traveling right now like I was supposed to be. So, but I do want to take the opportunity to stream for at least a little bit and touch base with everybody. Hope you're all doing well. And if this is your first time on the stream, the whole point of the stream is questions and answers. Answer every comment in the comment section of my videos. But once I've answered, I never see any follow-up replies or anything like that. This gives us more of the opportunity to chat back and forth and have an actual conversation. So if you have questions about drones, cameras, lenses, microphones, surviving in Alaska, any of that sort of stuff, ask away. This is the place to ask. I feel like I'm just, I'll just leave it. I look more tan than I actually am. So I know D&D aerial photography, you were here. Oh, and I'm going to play my reel from 2023, even though 2023 is not quite finished yet. Basically my reel from the last year. And then there are some exciting projects that I might be working on in the next couple weeks, which will be very cool if they happen. We'll see. But yeah, I'll play that in just a few minutes here to show everybody. But it's also posted on my channel if you haven't seen it. So you can see a 4K version on the channel if you want to see it in all of its high-res glory. And Brent Rose here, D&D, Quick Cat. Let's see who else. Alaska Filmer, studying for an exam. Study hard, my friend. M222, watching from Hawaii. Nice. I bet you're a good deal warmer than we are right here. Where in Hawaii, M22? I'm curious, if you don't mind sharing. DK, it's 1 a.m. London. Thank you for tuning in, DK. That is very late. That is almost the time that I woke up this morning. 2:30, roughly, when I woke up here, obviously not there, but yeah, I should have just done a stream then. I should do a European stream at 2 in the morning my time. I don't know what time that would be for you. I think you're about 9 hours different from me. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Jeremiah, thanks for the pricing advice for that job last week. You quoted them a high end of your recommendation, and they accepted. Awesome! Congrats. I'll take a finder's fee from that. 10% is generally pretty normal, so I'll get you my PayPal info after. But congratulations, man. I'm glad they accepted at the high rate. That's awesome. You're throwing it a seasonal time lapse you've been working on as a passion project. Awesome. Jeremiah, that's fantastic. Congratulations. And good job. Let's see. Inspired Art Photos. Looking forward to spring and trees with some color. Winter has arrived. Inspired Art Photos. Our winter's been here for like 2 months. And I don't even feel like we got a summer. I'm hoping next summer is better. But yeah, good time to cozy up to your Z9 and learn how to color grade raw footage. Great time to do that. Winter can offer some really spectacular opportunities to get some very neat photos. Stark, very contrasty, but very neat. Very Ansel Adams-esque if you're in a landscape area. But anyway, so don't discount winter. Inspired Art Photos, the last reel really rocked. Thank you. I appreciate that. You watch it. Well, you get to watch it one more time here, D&D, St. Charles, Missouri. Oh, I know where that is. I used to live in Lake of the Ozarks, Camdenton. I lived in Camdenton for a while, so I know where St. Charles is. Yeah, actually, you do have there's some pretty cool spots in Missouri to take pictures in the winter if you get some snow. If you don't get snow, then I agree. It's rough to do anything fun. D&D aerial photography for some hot tea. Thank you. There will be hot tea the minute this live stream is done. And yeah, we'll go from there. So let's see. Oh, and I do have some questions for you all too. I'll probably post them in the community tab as well. So if you can vote on that, would be helpful about future content from this channel or on this channel and what would be most helpful to you and stuff. So good morning from a very late Scotland. Good morning. That is super early morning if I'm not mistaken there. And where in Scotland? I really want to come back to Scotland and visit sometime. The few places that I got to go was just absolutely fantastic, and I loved it. H4 Services squeaked in that last second. Nice, you made it. Part 107 drones, Barkley, the shill is now live. Yeah. Big water UAV. Let's see. Keith Brown and Brenner. I've noticed. Thank you. Let's see. You're happy to announce, Brooks Mar, you say you're happy to announce you finally upgraded your A7 III and DJI Mini 2 to an A7 IV and Mini 4 Pro on some crazy Black Friday sales. Congrats. The image quality and color were both night and day difference. They are. The A7 III is a fantastic camera. It's a great photo camera. It's a good video camera. But when you jump into the 10-bit 422 color spectrum and you start working with footage, it's a huge difference. And the Mini 4 Pro is quite an upgrade in image quality too. And I'll have a video coming about the Mini 4 Pro early next week. Well, it's about the Pocket 3 and the Mini 4 Pro, so just FYI. H4 Services, another case of DJI FlySafe map telling me you were in a restricted zone that was not really there. That ever happened to you? H4 Services, it has happened to me around a couple of places that I now know I have to do. And then it's happened at a few places where it's like there are no restrictions on DJI, and I look at the actual air charts and there are restrictions. But so you really got to do your due diligence, because DJI's FlySafe it's decent, but it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Kona. Oh, okay. Hi, Dad. I was gonna say, yeah. Briswiz, hey, Jim Mundy, good evening. Simply Scotland Photography, you just woken up with excruciating tooth pain. Oh, I am sorry to hear that. That is not fun at all. I hope you are able to get that taken care of. Briswiz, you totally understand about the drop frames. Wondering if there may be some new AI ability to convert 30 to 24 frames smoothly when you have no other choice, having to convert such. I'm sure AI will do that. I think probably, I don't know if Topaz Video does that, actually. That's a good question. Does it do that? Oh, that's Topaz Photo. Never mind. Topaz Video does do a really good job of converting stuff. They also have updates like hourly, it seems like. Let me see if I can, I'll just pull this in real quick, and let me see what I can do with this. And that is 2080, yep. So Topaz Video, I would say, it's not cheap, but it is a fantastic program for working with video. And I would say that's your best bet for converting frame rates right now. Topaz Video AI is an extremely powerful program. And so, yeah, that's what I would do. I would look at that. If you need to do that, because you can convert between all, and it's amazing. Like, you can take 4K 120 and slow it down to be 4K 240, and it looks good. It does a really good job. So that's what I would recommend. Hey Jim. Oh, I already said hello to you, so I'm not saying hello to you again, Jim Mundy. Let's see. Hola from Colorado, Marsal. Hola, ¿cómo está? I assume you speak some Spanish. That's about all the Spanish I speak. So, would hate to need to unlock a zone with DJI in a place with no internet. Yes, it is. And that has happened to me. And it is extremely frustrating. Very frustrating. Thankfully, it's never happened to me on a paying gig. But, gosh, it's frustrating. Sam Marcus. Yes, that's true. Excellent point, Sam. Topaz does go on sale quite often and wait for a sale. They usually do like $50 off. I don't know. It seems like every couple months they have a $50 off sale. So it's worth it. It's a great, great program. But be warned, it is a processor intense program. Like, it will take all your system resources, and it takes a while because it does do it really well. So if you're going to process video with it, plan to walk away from your computer for a couple hours and let it just work, okay? Let's see. Hello from Stuttgart, Germany. Wow, Khalid, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. That's also probably very early in the morning for you. Simply Scotland, you have a 14-year-old foster daughter would like a small point and shoot camera for Christmas. Fixed lens, small pocket one. Can you recommend one for? So simply, Scotland, what's your budget? Because that's always the first question I ask is budget. But just going offhand, I would say the ZV-E1 is a great place to start. I've been letting my youngest son use that a lot for video and photo work for his channel and what he does just for fun. And it's definitely a good one. But there are some other ones out there, depending on what your budget is. And if you already have lenses for a certain camera, let me know. Jim, do I use any special tools for astrophotography other than a high quality wide angle? Santa me bought me the Sony 24 GM 1.4 for the Sony A7 IV. That is my combo right there. Not the A7 IV, I use the A1, but that is my combo. And if you look at my most recent reel on Instagram, that time lapse was filmed or made with the A1 and the 24 millimeter. Or no, that time it was actually made with the 14 millimeter 1.8 I was trying out for Astro, which is also very good. But the 24 is pretty much my go-to with low light. So the part of the video that was filmed with the A7S III and the 24 when I like pull into the camera and then the rest. So I hope that makes sense. But the 24 millimeters, that's what I'm using right now. It's one of my favorite lenses. It is fantastic. Jeremiah, what walls am I gonna hit with the A6700? Can it do real estate interiors, decent landscapes, portraits, topaz to compensate? You're not gonna find many walls with the A6700. It's more a matter of picking the right lenses. It's a fantastic camera. Great video, great photos all the way around. That is just a beast of a camera. In fact, my video on Friday is reviewing this, the Laowa 18 to 16 Sea Dreamer, which is a good lens for APS-C. No autofocus. If you need autofocus, I'd recommend probably the Sony or Sigma. Like there's like the 10 to 18 millimeter, I think, is what they do. I'd recommend that, which would be great for real estate. You need a really wide angle lens for real estate and for landscapes too. For portraits, anything on the 35 millimeter to 50 millimeter would be great for portraits, for APS-C lenses. I mean, for full frame too. But yeah, you're not going to run into many issues with that. Just for real estate interiors, you want a unbelievably wide lens to make small spaces feel big. And the Laowa is a really good one because it has very low distortion. Which I'll demonstrate when I do the video on Friday. But it also has no autofocus. So that's the catch there. So then the only other wall you're going to hit with the A6700 is extremely low light stuff. Like I'm talking moonlight, which the A7S III can handle. The A1, the A7 IV can do okay. But APS-C has a much more difficult time in extremely low light. But that's about it, to be honest. Latham Photography, what are your thoughts on DJI discontinuing open source for third-party apps soon? I don't know how much you use them. Personally use them for your drone run. This will suck. I was disappointed to hear that. Now, they're not discontinuing it for everything. It's just for iOS devices. So, yeah. I don't use a lot of third-party apps for DJI drones. But from what I saw and what I understand, it's only for iOS devices. So you may want to consider investing in one Android device just for that. But yeah, it does kind of suck. Inspired Art Photos. Topaz AI Video brings your iMac Pro to its knees. I have a Mac M2 Ultra Mac Studio with 64 gigs of RAM, and it's an M2 Ultra, so it's insanely fast. And Topaz Video AI will just basically shut everything else down and go, crunching for an hour to like work with footage, depending on what you do with it. But it's an intensive program, but it does produce really good quality. Drone shots. How much do they pay you to live here in Alaska? Not much, and not enough for what I get to deal with and put up with. But I do like living here. Let's see, Stephen. Sorry. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Which drone, Stefan, the Mini, like Mini series, you should be okay. Anything larger than that, they're likely going to charge you a tax, which is like 18% or something like that. So, but the Mini series, it seems like you get away with okay. And especially if it's just like, your Mini and a camera, and that's all you're carrying. For me, when I've gone in and out, I've been carrying substantially more. So it was a little harder to get away with. But the Mini series seems to be the best. But be ready to pay a tax. The other thing you can do, because they'll ask you a question of like, if you're traveling with professional equipment, it's worded weird in their visa entry form. But you can get what's called a carnet. It's CARNETE or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it's spelled. And then you get that, like you would get that, you would showcase your drone and your camera at Canadian Customs before you leave the country, and they will sign off on it with the serial numbers and all that and say, hey, this is, leaving the country. You go to Mexico, you show the carnet, and they should let you through with it, no problem. And I mean, you're not doing any like professional, you're not being hired to work there, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But then, and then when you come back into Canada, occasionally, like at least in the U.S., they want you to show that form again. Not all the time, but sometimes. So, Wendy, thank you for the well wishes. I appreciate that. Thoughts on the Feiyutech Scorp 2 gimbal for AI tracking, worth upgrading from the Weebill S? So I've seen a couple of videos. It looks cool, and if you need to upgrade for the tracking, then yeah, it might be worth it. I haven't played with one personally though, so I can't really comment really how it works. But it seems like it does okay. Brooks, have you used the Sony 11mm APS-C lens, super wide, 4K 70 on A7? Oh, gotcha. That would work, Brooks. You could do that. 4K 60, because it crops in. Wait, 4K 60 crops in? Yes, 4K 60 crops in. And you could definitely do that. It would definitely give you a nice, the equivalent, that'd be like 17 millimeters, 17 and a half, 18 millimeters. So you would get a pretty nice super wide look if you did that. Video editing software you use. QuickCat asks, what video editing software do I use? Sorry if it's been asked. It's been asked, but I don't mind answering. I use Final Cut Pro mostly, and mostly because I purchased it a few years back, and yeah, I haven't paid for it since. I am looking at DaVinci Resolve though. My son's been learning DaVinci Resolve, and I think I might be getting it. I don't know that I would use it for anything more than some of the color grading tools, but it is a very powerful program. That's the other one I look at. You just renewed Topaz Video and all photo apps. Was able to still get the Black Friday. Awesome, Inspired Art. Oh, I'm not as far behind you guys as I was thinking. Let's see. Simply Scotland Photography, around 400 pounds, but she doesn't want to be swapping lenses. Would like it small pocket size. So I don't know what the ZV-E1, or there's a ZV-E1F, but I don't know what it would cost for you over there, across the pond, as they say. There's the ZV-1 Mark II, which is too much. I mean, actually, the ZV-1 might be pretty close to what you're thinking, budget-wise, if I'm doing the math right in my head. So the ZV-1, or which is nice because then you do have like multiple focal lengths. So that's one thing. If that's out of your budget or out of reach, then I would, yeah, I wouldn't really recommend the Sony ZV-E1F because that's really limited lens-wise. It's, yeah, that or what are some of the Canon point and shoots are pretty nice, but I don't remember what any of them are called. So some of the power shot, Canon power shots are pretty decent. Yeah, so you look at the Canon PowerShot like 360, ELPH 360, or I would probably go more for the SX740, the Canon PowerShot SX740 is probably where. So Sony's EVE1 or the Canon PowerShot SX740 is what I would look at for you, Scotland. Let's see. Mini S. Okay. Let's see. Topaz video. Got it. Michael, I'm sick. I've got a little virus going on, so it's why I'm not traveling. I was supposed to go out of state for a show shoot, and I had to cancel because I didn't want to be traveling and get somewhere and then be sick. So yeah. Let's see. Qualifier iOS. Ton of mapping. This will affect drone deploy leak. Yeah, exactly. I know. Latham Photography. It's going to be a pretty big deal. Jess Demonet? Yeah, I'm not going to get it tonight. Sorry. But Jess, hello from Denmark. Hi. What photo editing program do you use, and have I tried Capture One? I have not tried Capture One. I've heard good things about it. I primarily use Lightroom and Photoshop. I've also worked with, what is it? Luminar. And I've enjoyed working with Luminar too. But, oh, and Topaz Photo. I worked with that too now quite a bit, and it's pretty good. But Topaz Photo is more, I mean, it does do editing, but it's more for like fixing and rescuing stuff. So, Valerie, Robert Schwimmer, Valerie Milford Photography Lightweight Gloves. You recommend arrive this evening? Thank you. I do. I use those a lot. A lot, actually, the Milford series, and I like them quite a bit. Quick Cat, you can't figure out how to color grade on DaVinci. It's funny you were messing it. So Donna Did It has some great tutorials, and somebody else. Anyway, so I would check out either one. That there's some great tutorials out there. I don't know enough about it to even like get you started, unfortunately. Brooks Mayer, do I think Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro is better? You have the same M2 Ultra Max Studio as me. I think it does just come down to preference. If you don't mind the monthly subscription, Premiere Pro is great. It gives you a lot of access to really powerful stuff, and they're coming out with incredibly powerful AI tools. So yeah, we'll see what Final Cut Pro does here. They need to do something because they kind of feel like the forgotten stepchild of Apple. Simply Scott Photography, you're welcome. Let's see. Tried DaVinci Resolve, couldn't get it. I'm sure with patience, time. You could. Latham Photography, you've used Adobe products since 98, PageMaker, Photoshop, Premiere Pro. We'll look at Final Cut Pro. Latham, yeah, I mean, Adobe does make some good stuff. My only issue is every now and then they put out a release that has terrible bugs, and it really is irritating. James Smith Films, do I think global shutter will come into an FX2 or A7S4 in 2024? Holding on to the A7S3 and A7 IV until something can replace the A7S3. Jay Smith, I think you and I are kind of in the same boat there as far as the A7S3, A7S4 goes. I'm very hopeful that they'll put some sort of global shutter in the A7S4. That would be amazing. And if they were able to keep it the same low light performance, and that'd be pretty incredible. So I'm hopeful. Tends to happen with Sony products is whatever's in there, like, you know, whatever the latest greatest is trickles down to the next few generations. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Inspire Photos. There you go. Flying Filmmaker. The color grading tools in DaVinci are amazing once you understand the node system. Yes, Flying Filmmaker, and that's the part that gets me. I haven't spent enough time with the node system to really comprehend it. Now, I do like understand it mentally or intellectually, as far as, you know, bringing it from one space into another space, working with, like, say, your white balance, and then working with, you know, I get all that conceptually. I just haven't messed with it enough to really be confident in it. How to Alaska. Long time no see. Hope you guys are doing well. How to Alaska. Yeah. Are you still out Glacier View area? I mean, I know where you were, but are you in the Glacier View area still? Because I do try and come out there. I go through that area fairly often. Be fun to say hi. Inspired art photos. Thanks for the one to try resolve. Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm all caught up on questions. So I'm gonna play my reel, and then we can chat for a few more minutes after, and then that might be it for me, because I don't know how much energy and stamina I have to go for this. Anyway, but here's my reel from 2023, which is basically like, these are all what I would consider some of the better footage that I captured. There's actually a few projects that I don't have in this one because I wasn't able to share them yet. I wish I had, because they're very cool projects. But maybe I'll do an updated 2023 reel after 2023 is actually over. So... All right, there you go. I didn't realize I had done a lot of air-to-air stuff this year, or I didn't realize how much air-to-air stuff I had done this year. It was a lot, but it was very cool and pretty awesome to do. So I do like the hyperlapses too, Mark H. Those were done for a project for ABC in Chicago, and yeah, they were fun. They were really fun to do. Challenging, but fun. Yeah, in fact, a lot of that footage, most of the Chicago stuff, I think, was done for ABC or another group down there. Anyway, 21 times now, D&D. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the watch time. Anyway, so there you go. There's my 2023 reel. And there's a few shots in there that I'm like, they weren't for any specific project, but like the wind blowing the snow off the mountaintop, like it's such a cool shot. It just shows the rugged, kind of terrifying stuff here at Alaska. So the compression iceberg chopper shots are next level. Jay Smith, those are some of my favorites. And there were so many shots I didn't put in there because I was just like, I can't fit everything in there that I want to. But there are some phenomenal. I really was privileged to work on some pretty phenomenal stuff this year, and very yeah, feel very, very fortunate to have done so. And I feel fortunate to have done so with people that are amazing people like Heli Pilot Lee, who I think pretty much all the helicopter shots in there she was piloting the helicopter for in various forms. And yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, every single helicopter shot in there was her. So anyway, and I'm always cautious about doing the air-to-air stuff or posting much of the air-to-air stuff because I don't want people to get the idea that you can just go out and do air-to-air. At the same time, like I'm doing more and more of it, and it's pretty dang spectacular. So, yeah. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. So let's see. Do I make my own LUTs? If so, the process, Stephen? Stephen Don in Canada, do I make my own LUTs? And if so, the process. I do make my own LUTs. I sell LUTs for D-Log for the Mavic 3 and D-Log M for the Mavic 3, Air 3, Mini 4 Pro, and the Pocket 3. Although I'm going to do some, I think I'm going to make some specific ones for the Pocket 3 here pretty soon because it's a little different. Anyway, I do. And so the process basically for me is like importing a frame into Photoshop, adjusting, tweaking it till I'm happy with it, and then trying that across multiple different frames from multiple different scenes and scenarios, and then exporting that as a LUT. And so it's days of work, and at least for me, because I'm really picky about it. And I need to update actually the D-Log M LUTs that I've got for sale too. So once I do that, those of you who've already purchased my LUTs, you'll get an email with the newer version here. So, thank you, Ed Bretner. Yeah, it's that time of year here, and pretty much everybody in my family's had it so far. So, I knew it was kind of just a matter of time. I won't lie that I was hoping I would get to avoid it, but no, at least not completely. So, yeah, I think with that, I probably, if you've got a question, ask in the chat, because otherwise I'm going to wrap the stream up here in the next couple minutes and call it a night. Go rest and relax. Jeremiah, awesome reel, thank you. Advice for grading video that changes exposure, starts dark then gets bright kind of thing. That is very difficult to, you can color grade it, but at the end of the day, you have to grade it for whatever the brightest part is. So go to wherever it's brightest in the video, set your exposure, your white balance, color grading, all of that for that section. And then the dark section, you just have to kind of leave it dark. I don't ever recommend doing auto exposure on a camera because that will do that for you. There are some instances where it's good, but most of the time I don't. So yeah, that's what I do. Go to the brightest part where the video is the brightest, color grade it for what you want it to look like there, and then it just has to be what it has to be on the dark parts. And sometimes you can kind of split the difference to get something, and so it's just kind of what you're going for and playing with a bit. Sibley Scotland Photography, buddy, you're on the way back to bed. Awesome. Have a brilliant Christmas. You too. And I hope your tooth feels better soon. Mark H., thank you for the super chat. Hope you'll get some more astro photos. I have actually recently. I was up in Independence Mine and I got some pretty cool ones. If you look at my most recent Instagram reel I posted today, it has some of the astrolapse stuff in there, which is very cool. But yeah, I'm hoping to go out and do some more Aurora stuff here pretty soon. James Smith Films. You've been doing a lot of Lance authorization jobs lately in St. Louis. Having the 107 license and doing the right way feels good, even though it's a pain in the ass. Yes, agreed on both counts. That it's a pain in the neck or something else. But also it feels good. And especially with remote ID now being in place for many drones, it is important that you do it because many cities are installing monitoring systems that listen digitally for drones, and that's essentially looking for your remote ID. So like I know in Anchorage, they've already got one station set up by the airport, and they've had a bunch of what they would call intrusions in the airspace, in controlled airspace. Now, it wasn't intrusions like onto airport property, but it was intrusions in areas that's in controlled airspace, and nobody had filed a Lance request. There are areas, tons of areas you can file Lance requests, but in that case, only a few have actually done it. So it's going to be interesting to watch it play out. Simply Scotland Photography, thank you for the 10 pounds. I'll put that to good use tonight-ish for some hot tea. Appreciate it. Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus works. Dawn, yep, exactly. KSA, any experience with M Tracker? When tracking a drone clip, it gets about 2/3 of the way and gets struck, M1 Pro Mac. So I've had similar issues with M Tracker, and I don't use it very often. I've found that the tracking in Final Cut Pro generally works a little better in most instances, but it is really difficult. And usually it has to do with the little section that you use to like track this area kind of thing. And it takes a lot of work to get it right. I found that to be the same. And I found other times it works great. So I'm not sure why it seems to struggle with drone footage so much. Quick Cat, awesome. Yeah, Lance approval is great. It's super easy, and it's super. It works really well. It's just a lot of people don't do it. I use it all the time. I get Lance approvals for all kinds of stuff. And then I have to get some more manual approvals where I have to submit it through Drone Zone because it's, in the 0-foot grid by an airport or something else. And I have to get a special approval. And I'm working on some of those now for a potential shoot later this month. But we'll see. Oh, thank you, Inspired Art Photos. I appreciate that you tried. All right, folks. I am going to call it a night because I don't think any of you want to see me sitting here like in a coughing fit, sneezing fit, or any of the above. But I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for hanging out, watching the videos. If you haven't, go watch the reel in 4K, then go watch the reel in 4K because it's pretty cool. Next video coming up is actually about this lens here, the 8 to 16 millimeter lens from Laowa for Sony APS-C cameras. And then after that will be a video about the Pocket 3 and the Mini 4 Pro. I haven't really figured out what I'm calling that one yet. But it's going to be, essentially like it's the ultimate kind of like super tiny budget camera package for those two things. And I'll probably do another one about how to use and get the most out of the Pocket 3, because I see a lot of people doing reviews of it. I haven't seen a lot of people doing like, this is how you utilize this camera and get the most out of it. So that's going to be coming too. In the meantime, thanks for being part of this channel. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who super chatted. Again, it's really, really appreciated that you spend time with me here on live streams, and that you, bless me and my family with extra money. That means a lot. So, that being said, thanks for being part of this community, for hanging out with me here on the live stream while I try not to cough and sneeze. And till the next time, be safe, be smart. I'll see you again soon in the next video. And cheers, everybody.